Oh, golly.
What does that mean?
We've got an hour and 3 minutes.
All right, we better make this tall. Did you remove anything from the SD card to get us that?
Yeah, I had to. I'll send you those clips later.
Thank you.
Exclusive clips.
Oh, mate. Morgan, how's it going? It's here we are, ready to go. It's episode 2 of the normal podcast. Episode 2.
Shut that phone up. Hayden makes these lists of things that we're going to say, and then the phone says it back to us.
It's annoying, but it's very helpful to have the list put there and me not to have to fucking touch the phone. I can just tell it that this is what we're talking about.
Drag me
put
down.
It on a list. And then I don't have to... Stop showing them behind the curtain, Morgan.
Well, it's tradition.
It is tradition. Hey, we're sitting in slightly different places to last time.
It's the third
You're
episode.
sitting in the same place.
Now I'm sitting in the corner.
It's the third episode, but the second episode that you don't have to pay to listen to. And this is all...
Fuck that phone. I'll tell you what, that phone doesn't shut up soon. I'm going to shut it up for me.
Guys, welcome to the Big Reef Podcast. This is the normal podcast, free for anyone. You don't have to be a Patreon subscriber, but it does help. I just want to let everyone out there listening remember, I want to let you know, and then once you know, I want you to remember that you can subscribe to our Patreon. You can become a patron at the try-hard tier level, which is $8, $8.50. Hang on. How do you say
$8?
It's 8.
That's more like it.
8.50 quintessential 8.50 quintessential Australian dollars per month.
More like it.
To unlock all of the bonus episodes, all the bonus content, get our releases early, get the podcasts early, get art early, get all of the extra stuff. Morgan, we're going to release your limited time podcast called Snail Yeah soon behind the paywall. Get over there. So that's really, really good. But Morgan...
This is so exciting.
That's the pitch to the side. Oh, wait, you can go there and you can subscribe at patreon.com/Big Reef. Follow us on Instagram, etc. All of those things.
You know what my favorite part about being a Patreon subscriber for Big Reef is?
Are you subscribed to our Patreon?
I'm not yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
But you can imagine what it would be like if you were.
Well, I've subscribed to other Patreons before.
Okay, all right.
And this is one that, because I've done that before and I know how enjoyable that process is, what I'm really looking forward to is the act of subscribing. It's not being a subscriber. It's not getting the benefits, which are many and plentiful when it comes to the Big Reef Patreon. It's the actual act of subscribing. And I'm really looking forward to that. And the joy and the honor that comes with the act of subscribing. So look out for that on the next paywall or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that look out for that on the paywall. Get that thing down off the paywall. It's gonna fall.
Get it off. It's balancing tenuously. Morgan,
what's news? What do you? A lot has happened over the last week. So many things, but I want to know what you want to talk about specifically.
Oh, it's been so big.
It has been big.
I might just start by reading. People often ask me, "Hey, Morgan, what do you do for work? What is it that you actually do?" We know that you're a raconteur. We know that both you and Hayden span the genres.
Just texting your drug dealer. Can you pay attention to the pod, please? Are they going to give you drugs or not?
No, I think he's busy tonight. I wanted this to be the first traditional riding in a car while I travel down south. Because the sound of car.
Yeah, the sound of car.
Most people listen to podcasts in car, so then imagine hearing an extra car.
Yeah, two
and then it's like you're in the car inside another car.
That'd be so good.
With your friends, pals.
That's so meta.
I don't think it's happening tonight, but look.
Drugs?
Nobody needs drugs. But I do other things, and for work what I do sometimes is people get hurt.
Oh, you can't disclose this information.
No, you're right. It's pretty funny though.
Let's suffice to say, Morgan has a funny anecdote from work.
I have some funny anecdotes, and if you pay,
it's not worth it
for the premium. If you pay premium, I'll tell you some really funny stuff. Something
funny happened at work that is.
I'll tell you a funny work story.
He is legally not allowed to disclose on this podcast, but he can tell you, and it is funny. I've heard it, and I don't know if you legally were
I think
allowed to disclose
I
it
just
to me.
don't tell the personal
I don't,
details.
yeah, no.
But what's been happening otherwise? I've been
Good point. He'll tell you the funny thing that happened at work if you if our Patreon tier gets to the point where he can stop working there.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Because-
if I'm able to actually sacrifice my job for the Patreon, I'll do it. If enough people sign up. Otherwise, I've been playing a lot of racing games.
You mentioned this to me earlier tonight. Again, it's another night where Morgan and I have been working on our art, our craft. And Morgan mentioned he's been playing a lot of racing games. And I didn't want to be rude, but now we're recording, I will. I didn't really know what to say to that.
That I've been playing lots of racing games.
Maybe I'm just very bad at conversation, but he's like, I've been playing racing games. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, you know, like what kind of racing game? And to which you replied,
Well, now's your second shot. Now you can reply in kind.
I don't know. I
What are
guess
some racing games you like?
well, like, yeah, okay. So which ones, Morgan?
Okay, so I've been playing this one called Res, which isn't really a racing game. It's more of a visual
Novel.
novel.
It's a visual novel about
It's a visual novel.
racing man.
It's about a man.
But
and
he's half man, half dog, and he likes other racing women who are half dog, half guinea pig.
hence the name Res,
Yeah,
which is why he's Res.
I feel like every visual noggle. I feel like
Noggle.
every
Muggle.
visual noggle,
every visual muggle.
every visual novel is like the characters in it are like part animal, part human, right?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I also watched the first Harry Potter film, and you might say that was a clumsy segue,
was a
but to you,
clumsy
I'd say,
segue.
shut up! I haven't eaten any food today. This is a very good
And some
movie.
Triscuit crackers in the car.
Delicious Triscuit crackers. You didn't tell me anything about any delicious Triscuit crackers.
I didn't know you wanted.
I don't know. You had any delicious Triscuit crackers? It's good. This first Harry Potter movie. I'll tell
I
you
thought
what.
we were talking about racing games. Okay, the first Harry Potter movie is not good, but why? Why do you say that?
Lots of deleted scenes. I didn't realize I downloaded the extended edition. And there's like a scene
Went
of,
for 6 hours.
well, there's Harry and Hagrid sitting on a train going to Diagon Alley, and they don't talk about anything useful.
No, I don't
in it.
remember seeing that.
Maybe it's in the book that they're on the train, and everybody keeps attracting like curious glances from muggles.
So hold up a second. A book with a train in it? How do you fit a train in a book, Morgan? You're blowing my mind here.
Have you seen?
I thought books were just.
I thought book was.
I thought book was paper, but you're saying now that book was train.
You see a lot of people reading books in trains. You don't see a lot of trains in books.
No.
And I think we need to flip the script
Did you
on that one.
Did you misspeak?
I misspeak.
Do you misspeak?
I misspeak. But Res is a good game. You're sort of like an android kind. I think the story is that AI at a certain point took over the world so strong that it became police. And once it became police, it became overwhelmed with how much information it was being fed and how much crime it had to uncorrupt.
AI is police now.
Yeah, it's police now. And so
And you've got to drive a car to
but
fix
the
that.
AI then got broken and sick. So your rule is Raz.
Your rule?
Your rule is now to fix this. You are going into, but like the story is really just there as a kind of structure to
A framing device.
It's a framing device, and it's lots of like I would say early Windows visual, almost screensaver kind of things, but you know, pleasantly put together with music, so that all you're doing is shooting and you're directing sort of what do you call it, a crosshair, and destroying ships and moving on to the next phase of every level as you go further and further into this machine to try to fix the AI that has broken down.
Okay.
So there's not much of a story to it, but it's all about the visuals and the music. You don't have to hit things at a certain moment. It's not about the rhythm. It just so happens that anytime you shoot and land a strike on an opponent, that the game itself synchronizes to your shots, so that the constant sort of EDM background soundtrack synchronizes with your shots in a very pleasant way.
Yeah, so the guy that directed or came up with this game, he's a very, very famous Japanese video game creator, director. His name is Tokahunter Masasoti Toyota Mazda.
Yeah. He's a sumo wrestler as well.
No, I don't know his name, but yeah, he did Tetris Effect. So this was we did have this conversation, Morgan.
We did.
But
we
it
actually
just
had
wasn't
something
that
to
interesting.
contribute. Yeah.
Sorry, but he makes a lot of these games where like there's like puzzle like games, but when you finally put the puzzle piece together, the computer game makes a sound in the same key as the backing track that's playing, and it changes the tempo based on when you hit the button that engages that puzzle piece.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
That stuff's fun.
But what about all the other like? I'm trying to understand why like it feels like you've gone down a driving or a racing game rabbit hole. Yeah, is this the hair that broke the camel's ass?
It started.
Is this hair of the dog, Morgan?
It started with, in my flat, I have a big projector screen. It's probably 3 meters wide and almost 2 meters tall. And so that's what I do my viewing on. And then I had a long HDMI cable that I connected from my computer to my projector.
Oh, I didn't ask for your life story.
Well, look, it's all
I asked
background.
for the news, not the weather.
It's all background.
Stop spitting on me.
And
sorry.
It was mild today. But I connected that up for me want to play Halo with Lucy. And there was another game.
That's your pet name for your controller, isn't it? The left joystick's loose.
The left one is loose.
Me want to play Halo with Lucy.
But I wanted to play some game. I don't remember what I wanted to play, but it just ended up me going into this thing where I started downloading PlayStation 2 emulators and PlayStation games, and looking up like what are the best racing games of all time and reading top 10 lists.
You've never been like, listen. Little story for the people listening to the podcast. I actually grew up with Morgan. He's my brother. I saw him. I saw him every day in my house when we were growing up. I don't remember him playing many racing games other than, your Mario Kart, which everyone played Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Why'd you be like, I'm feeling nostalgic. I'm going to download some PS2 games. I know I'll just exclusively download racing games. Why?
I think specifically I wanted to find games that were not rooted too much in a storyline, but I wanted it to have a visual
novel.
I wanted to have a visual novel. I wanted it to be psychedelic. And so there were games that I remembered playing, like this game called No Thing, and Hotline Miami and Super Hot.
Line Miami?
No, just Super Hot. But they all have like this common thread in that you don't need to worry too much about what's going on. Okay. Just play the game and just enjoy the thing. The Stanley Parable is another one.
And so I'm Morgan's brain. I'm thinking, I need a game. I want it to be a bit psychedelic, but I don't want to have to think about a storyline. I just want to get straight into the action. You know what? Racing games don't usually have a story around them. Maybe I'll go down that path. Is that what happened in your brain?
And then I thought about games like Wipeout. And
I'll just go back to your brain. It was like, there was this game Wipeout. Don't think about men. Don't think about penises.
I'm not gay.
I'm not gay.
And then there was
racing. Racing will make me feel less gay and less uncomfortable with the fact that I'm actually closeted and gay.
F-Zero GX, I think it was, which is a Captain Falcon games. Falcon. People know from Super Smash Brothers. And presumably some franchise that occurred before Super Smash Brothers. But I think it was mainly a racing thing. I think that Captain Falcon was mainly a racer.
I don't know. I thought that they invented a whole...
Captain Falcon?
When I first played Super Smash Brothers, I just assumed like a whole heap of those characters were invented for the game.
Now, you're wearing Hayden socks.
I'm wearing Hayden socks.
Hayden,
Guilty
you're wearing
socks. You've caught me again.
And it's funny that you should be wearing odd socks because today when we were shooting our music video...
Oh, yes.
I have been wearing odd socks for upwards of a week now. One of them is a Pizza Planet sock and one of them is a green sock. You're wearing what sock are you wearing?
Well, I've got a dog. My dog is so bad. He's bad to the bone. He chews through everything, but he's also like actually like fucked in the head. Like he's got neurological issues. So what we thought was like him being a puppy and like, oh, he'll grow out of it, just ended up being, nope, now we have a dog and he eats everything and he barks at everyone, and potentially we need to keep him away from any person that comes into our house because he might actually hurt them, and I don't want to have to deal with the repercussions of that. Anyway, long story short, he's eaten through just about every single sock I've ever owned. I am at that point in my life where I tell like the people in my life that actually for my birthday and Christmas I love like a couple of sick like sets of socks, because I never have a matching pair. But I got a sick set of socks for my last birthday, though. I got Dorito branded socks.
Oh, yay. I love Doritos.
So I got, but of course, like one of them's been completely decimated by my stupid piece of shit dog. So I'm wearing, I'm wearing one Dorito sock and one blue sock with pineapples on them. Man, like the thing, he ate the ones that were like crazy expensive too. Like, you know, it was my birthday, maybe a couple of years ago, it was my birthday, and I got handed a wonderful gift of like just a box full of like 6 socks. Like, I could tell like a couple of them were like just stupid, like, yeah, this is a $30 pair of socks.
Yeah.
This is a $40 pair of socks.
Oh, wow.
This is pretty, you know, you can tell the elastic wasn't going to waste away anytime soon, and the graphic design on them was fantastic. And of course those are the ones that one of them, Morgan, dare I tell you, one of them was a beautiful white and black pattern with smiley faces, and it said acid on them in like a sick drippy sort of text.
Yeah.
Acid.
That's pretty good.
Now, hang on. Acid's cool.
I've never done
that. Acid is a psychedelic drug.
Never thought about
that
it.
Like the cool people take.
Yeah.
And here I
it's
am.
on a sock.
A 30, you know, some might say passing for 21-year-old man, 30 something certainly, but like on a good day, 20, at least 15 years old. I'm out there. I've got my new socks on. They say acid. No one needs to know that I don't take acid to be cool or anything like that, and I have panic attacks when I smoke a little bit of weed. They don't need to know that. I'm out there. I'm striving. In fact, that day I pulled my long johns, which I call all of my pants long johns.
Overalls.
I call my shirts long johns.
Long johns.
I pull them all the way up over my knees so that as I'm striding my way down Northbourne Avenue, everyone can see. Does that man's sock say acid on it?
Yeah.
That's illegal.
They can see us from so far away.
So my dog is shit and I have holes in my socks.
I have been doing some research and I found out that the podcasts that are most successful have a laugh break every 30 seconds. Just a laugh break. So whatever's being uttered by the...
Do you remember laugh groups?
Oh, don't remind me. Don't remind me of laugh groups.
For anyone who's not aware, it was a bit of a fad back in, let's say, like 2004, maybe early 2000s, turn of the millennium. Like it was very in for middle-aged women to go and congregate in a laugh group, which was like a group of really annoying people. They'd all get together, they'd sit in a circle for half an hour and force themselves to laugh. And then, of course, you know, the absurdity of that would make them genuinely laugh. And the idea was it was like the new meditation. It's like, because obviously laughing releases endorphins or serotonin or whatever, and so like actually getting together with like a bunch of other insane people and sitting in a circle and laughing at literally nothing for half an hour straight is really good for your mental health. And I don't know, did Mum ever go to one of those?
I'm pretty sure she did. It's pretty depressing. I mean, on the one hand...
at home, she's got Hayden. I'm there. I'm cracking jokes. I'm going, bam, Mum, check this one out. Bam, check this one out. Morgan's over there. Is like, Mum, check this one out. I'm riffing with the best of them. Man. Hayden.
Oh, speaking of which, I took some silly pills today. I'll tell you what, I took some crazy pills around here. I just don't
understand why Mum couldn't get the laughter at home there. She's got 2 beautiful sons just yakking it up, and she's like, actually, it's really good for me to leave the house. And actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I understand why she wanted to leave the house. Yeah. I'm surprised she was ever home.
But I had some so cool... Hold on a second. I'm just texting somebody something real important.
Okay. So while you text that important person, I'll go on more wax poetic about laugh groups. Listeners, we want to hear from you. Are laughter groups still a thing?
Do they still
exist? Is there a laughter group that we can join?
It's friendship group.
We could do a whole episode. We could infiltrate a laughter group cult and try and I don't know. We've been talking about how we can expand this podcast. You know, we've got a lot of band interviews that are coming down the pipe eventually.
They're coming in hot.
We've got a radio play content that'll be coming down the line. Maybe we want to do an investigative series, not unlike popular podcast Serial or something like this, where we do a 5-parter and we infiltrate a laughter group and interview them and sort of understand what's going on there.
It's been a long time since I've listened to Radio Lab or This American Life or S-Town or Serial, but I think the tone was something like,
in camera, around 2010, there were a lot of popular groups where people laughed and had a lot of fun. But what they didn't tell you was that there was a darker meaning to the laughter.
So the idea here is that we all laugh in a circle. It's really good to see you all here. You do need to take a glass of water when you come in. We want to be hydrated when we laugh. And also, I've got this contract that you need to sign. There's no need to read it whatsoever. But if you could sign the contract and then join the... Then I found out that actually they were turning anyone who joined the laughing group into an ISIS member.
I like to imagine that if I was Ira Glass, just walking around in regular situations, when I talked, other people's voices would get quieter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like everything around me, as long as I was talking, and I could be talking at this volume, everything would just get really quiet.
And whenever you enter a room, like the door creaks incredibly loudly and suddenly like you'd say hello and everyone in the room would be silent for that.
And there's always a vibraphone player in the corner.
You got to carry a vibraphone. Who's Ira Glass? Is he He's American
That
Life?
American Life. But
he never did the reporting, didn't he? He was just the man connecting the dots. This next one's called Chapter 4. I'm a fucking idiot.
It was so...
Chapter 3. My dog eats all my socks.
Makes me want to drink a cup of tea and just tuck her in and do some housework.
Yeah.
That's what I like
between
about it.
2010 and... I could go on about this forever, but between 2010 and 2020... both the podcasting, well, I guess podcasting is digital media, but the podcasting and what I call digital media, i.e. like digital newspapers or commentary websites, etc. That whole thing was just fucking like
gangbusters.
Well, no, but it never made money. Right. It was the big cash cow or the big hope of like venture capitalists everywhere. They were like, podcasts, digital media, etc., etc. This is the thing. Mm-hmm. We're getting eyeballs on our websites. We're getting earballs on our podcasts.
So I was hoping you'd say the earballs.
Push money into these ventures. We're going to make the money, and it never came. Yeah. And that's why you're seeing all of those publications, etc., fall apart now. But so there is like a very zeitgeisty thing from those periods stuff. Of the way that people were talking on podcasts, and so it was. But it's so weird. It's not that weird, but it's odd to think about the idea that like that trope you were just talking about, that Ira Glass serial style aesthetic or audio aesthetic was entirely a product of like this idea that this is going to make this is it. It's just around the corner. It never came.
Yeah.
It's like Spotify now not turning a profit. It's like
it's so weird.
It's really weird.
There it really is, and it sounds stupid to say it now, but people could keep saying it. I don't care how long you say it for, but like there's always been such a big, I don't know, like market for people who are just doing some menial task and need something to listen to in the background. So, radio's always been a thing. Why haven't like radio plays and those kind of This American Life and things like that actually become the new way for people to consume their...
But I think the audience is there for a lot of these things. I think some of these podcasts have massive audiences and really, in some cases, like adoring audiences who really like what they're putting out. But the thing about it is that being able to turn a profit off it never really, it reached a point where it was feasible, and then the entire landscape changed, and all that revenue started disappearing because it never skyrocketed past the point of making money. But people do listen to podcasts, and there are some like profitable podcasts for sure. We were talking about this earlier this week about like how you get like localized ads in your podcasts now.
Yeah.
You get like ads for like businesses in Fishwick.
Yeah.
On like, so someone's making money, but that's kind of like, I think the people that are making money are those third party companies. So like Company X that has like a massive network across the whole world, and they say our service is to buy ad space in podcasts and sell that ad space to local businesses in Canberra, in Sydney, in Melbourne, in New York, in Rio de Janeiro. That company's making a bunch of money, and that's where all of the revenue started disappearing to. This is because it's the exact same thing that happened with the media websites, whereby like a Facebook or a Twitter or a Instagram started localizing ads in the feeds, and they are making all the money on the advertising rather than whoever is trying to I don't know, the Vice is a fantastic example. Vice have a website, they put ads on their website, but then suddenly eyeballs stopped going to the website because people were just looking at Instagram posts or Facebook posts of the Vice.
Yeah.
Right. And so Facebook or whoever usurped Vice and got the advertising money, and likewise in podcasts there are these third parties that are getting the money now because they can localize ads and target people better.
Well, I've been holding on to this one for a while, and I thought you might enjoy it.
Okay.
I was walking down to the local shops
the other day?
Well, just today, in fact. Oh. And there were a couple of hoonies on a bicycle and they were riding towards me, young hoonies, and, you know, people wear like jumpers or T-shirts that have like a band or a hip-hop artist that they're a fan of.
People have been known to, for sure.
It's been going on for years. And
I've always spoken out against it personally.
What does it say? Oh, there it is. It was so funny. You know how like T-shirts and jumpers will often create sort of a pattern where like if the person is leaning over, the shirt will crinkle up and create a tent.
I can imagine it. We can all imagine that.
Somebody's riding a bicycle and it creates a tent.
The worst is like jumper. Where you're sitting at an office desk and your pants are fashioned in such a... It looks like you have a blazing erection.
This is like the pilot of Curb Your Enthusiasm all over again.
Wait,
the pants tent. Yeah.
Oh,
the tent.
Wow. I don't remember
That's
that.
the pilot.
Okay.
In a movie theatre. And
he's got a pants tent. But in your shirt, a shirt tent.
Imagine that in a shirt or a jumper with a hip-hop artist on it. Now, this person was... You remember this? Oh, she's gone. And they were riding towards us, and I thought it said Z-Fag.
Can I try and reverse engineer that?
Try and figure out who it was.
And it was a rapper?
It was, yeah.
Okay, Z-Fag.
So they're riding towards me. They had a crinkle or like a tent in their jumper.
Their shirt. And their shirt looked like it.
I didn't do this myself. I read it from 10 meters away in perfect twilight.
You didn't print a T-shirt that said Z-Fag on
I didn't put this idea in my head. Okay. The T-shirt put it in my head.
Put it in your head.
And I thought it said Z-F-A-G.
No, I give up. I don't know what that would have been.
Two-pack.
Yeah, okay.
The number 2, PAC.
Yeah.
I thought it said Z-Fag.
I don't know. Maybe you saw what you wanted to see, Morgan.
Yeah, I don't think I ever wanted to see that. I don't think I ever want to see that again.
Whatever a Z-Fag is, I don't know.
Whatever that is. Get it out of
disgusting.
Get it out of my eyes.
It's Adam and Eve, not Z and Fag. That's what they always say.
But I've also been playing, besides Rez, this game
and how's that? Burnout.
So Burnout is like a racing game where the goal is to also crash.
Bernie Sanders.
No, it's not. Don't be silly.
Sorry.
They were about crashing cars.
Silly.
Do you remember Z-Fag? Yeah.
Yes.
You were with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did Morgan infer that it was Z-Fag because he's got some kind of fixation on
homosexual
using homosexual slurs?
Do you think I projected Z-Fag onto the jumper?
Yes, he actually
Morgan, that's not what we want to hear.
But I've been always saying slurs my whole life. To describe Harry Potter when he was being all those things.
What was he being?
I don't think you should replace.
No, definitely
No,
not.
he was, though. He was being all those
I
things.
think it's a theme.
No, but you once told me that you don't mind me using slurs as long as I chain them all together so as not to offend any one minority.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's broad. I like that. And also if it's aimed at Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, as long as it's aimed at Daniel Radcliffe. You think you didn't see Zed Fag? Oh,
What did
wow.
you see? Tupac? You're like me. I don't see color. I'm blind.
I'm looking for it all the time. Spelling errors, all sorts of grammatical.
Morgan's looking for color.
But well, they're not in the fridge. And then I played Burnout 3 Takedown.
Tell me about Burnout Takedown.
It's a racing
3.
game, but in the process of racing, you get to smash other cars into things and try to make them burn out. And you get points, and the points replenish your boost. And obviously,
I like
boost
those
is
kind of
like
mechanics.
NOS, make you fast. Really simple mechanics.
I can play that. That
really
sounds
fun.
That sounds good.
It's really fun. I'm serious. It's really fun.
Wow.
Auto. Oh, there was a really cool like
Erotic
cell shaded
asphyxiation.
racing game I was playing called like. I want to say it's called Autofallacia, but it's obviously not called Autofallacia. But it's just a nice simple like rally racing game, but it's cell shaded. There's not too much like upgrade your car and you got the rim, you can put the rim on the thing now, and look, this car's unlocked, like that shit. That's what I'm saying. You got to find the PlayStation 2 like 2004 to 2006.
Wait, is that a game? Find the PlayStation 2?
Yes.
I would play that.
I'm saying,
that sounds sick.
find the PlayStation 2 games, but for racing games, probably this is across the board, but like racing games, car racing games, 2004, 2006, PlayStation 2, probably all over the console. You know, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, which I'm yet to play as well. But so far, the 3 games I've played do not involve a great deal of like, you don't have to spend half an hour in the garage section of the game upgrading. Well, that's what games are these days.
There's a lot of that.
There's so much like customize your character and customize your vehicle and like, I know it's not a new opinion, but fuck that shit off. Just give me the skill game. Just
game
give me the
designers,
thing.
I think, are like pressured to make to put a whole heap of that stuff in because some people just enjoy that stuff and so they're trying to make these games holistic experiences. But I agree with you. Like if I open like, you know, Forza Horizon, have I told you about this one? I think I've shown you.
Well, yeah, that was on the list. I was almost going to download it, but it was too big for my
Boots.
my boots.
That's like an open world racing game.
Yeah.
And so there are a bunch of different things you could do. You could be like, you could spend the entire game just like adding shit to your car, and that could be the whole game for you. And that's all well and good, but the thing that happens to me when I play a video game and it has all these options is I get like total anxiety, like, I'm not doing all the, if I just like racing and I just do a bunch of races, I feel like I'm not getting my money's worth, or I'm not playing the game properly, and I need to. Well, today actually what I'm going to do, instead of playing 5 races and then being like, all right, I just wasted like half an hour of my life, I'm not doing this anymore, I'll be like, well, I haven't touched the character customization settings really too well yet. So I think this session I'm just going to put 45 minutes into making my character look good. Yeah. Because I haven't done it yet, and I feel like I should have done it by now, and it's a waste of the game if I don't do everything in it. And then,
I understand that.
Fast forward 45 minutes later, there I am in my bathroom with a fucking necktie strapped around my neck and the other end strapped around the
bathtub.
And I'm saying, this isn't how you hang yourself. I'm pulling my neck away from the bathtub. I'm trying to kill myself. And I should have used rope to begin with, because this tie is incredibly short, and I should have hung it from something high. And then, you know, like I've seen plenty of movies where people hang themselves.
I understand.
I know how to do it. You don't tie the fucking other end of it to the bathtub.
Well, have you even seen What Women Want, where Mel Gibson almost electrocutes himself with a hairdryer in the bathtub, And
Accidentally?
And then because the bathtub and the hairdryer are both feminine objects,
Oh, God.
you can then read the minds of all women around it.
I've never seen that movie. Is that how it happens?
It's so funny.
That is
It's
so good.
Such a good movie.
We've got to make
it's
what
really fun.
men want, where like a woman's
That's
like
already
mowing.
That actually happened.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they did make what men
She's
want.
mowing the lawn and she mows over her.
Yeah.
I don't know. She
She's
mows
just,
it into the
she's
bathtub.
just appreciating her dick, and then
Well, who's the lead in What Men Want?
I don't know.
Is that really real?
Yeah.
Is that really real?
That's really real.
All right, guys, we're going to take a little break here to update you. I think an episode or two ago, Morgan hit us all with a mind bender. He asked the following riddle, which was, a man finishes work for the day, turns off the light, goes downstairs, turns on the evening news. He sees that a ship has crashed into a cliff and many people have died. He screams, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And he kills himself. Why?
Yeah. Can you tell me now? Are they able to tell us now?
Oh no one hit me up with the answer.
Now I answer.
But you
And
tell
I
them
give
because
the
they've
reveal.
been. It's like a cliffhanger.
It's the answer
It's
was
something that an Ira Glass might do on an episode of his famed podcast, The
that
American Way.
boy.
Make America
Make America
life.
that man again.
Make my day.
The
You
answer-
remember Ira Glass presents Make My Day.
Make my day. And the answer
This
is the
Ira
protagonist
Gla-
of the
this is
riddle
Ira
was
Glass.
living
You're listening
in
to-
a lighthouse.
What?
Yeah. So
We are
imagine
gonna
he lives and works in a lighthouse.
forever, you and
He
me,
turns the light off.
you and
He goes down.
always go-
No, he finishes work.
He finishes work.
He turns the light off.
The lighthouse light, Morgan. That's crazy.
And then he goes
what if there are
downstairs?
ships coming into bay?
Well, he doesn't know. And then, but actually, I reread this proper riddle, and it's very important to read it the right way.
Oh, you've got to
I
read a
didn't
riddle
read
or
the
two.
riddle the right way, but he finishes work, he turns the light off, he goes downstairs, he turns on the TV, he sees that ship had crashed, and then he kills himself.
Yes,
Because he lived in a lighthouse, and he worked in a lighthouse. Okay, so get over it. That's how it goes.
Living or working on the lighthouse.
I'll tell you what else I was watching today. It was a documentary that Adrian Edmondson, in cooperation with the BBC, made about Rick Mail and Bottom. You know the TV show Bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very saccharine. I mean, like these guys.
Is it like new?
Yeah. It came out like 2 weeks ago. And
So these are two characters from the cult English sitcom, The Young Ones. And then they went on to make Bottom. Or maybe they made that first.
well, I mean, the zenith of both of their careers was in the late 70s, early 80s when they made The Young Ones and they were on the Comedy Strip Presents, and they did a bunch of really cool characters. They basically created this is Spinal
The Dangerous
Tap.
Brothers.
They did, but you remember what was that group called?
I don't know, but yeah,
Can't remember what it's
they
called,
did
but
Spinal Tap before.
They did Spinal Tap before Spinal Tap, like an English version of it, which Spinal Tap I think was English. Americans pretend to be English, but then they did The Young Ones, and then they did like an episode or a series called The Dangerous Brothers.
Yeah.
And in the documentary, it's funny because he goes over how they had no script writing skills or experience. And when they started writing The Dangerous Brothers, it was just like, well, what should happen now? What would be exciting? Oh, an explosion. So an explosion would happen. What would happen next? Oh, a bigger explosion. And that's how they approached it. And then they started writing Bottom in the early 90s, which I've tried to watch a few times, and it's just like the bits of The Young Ones and The Dangerous Brothers that are all about physical comedy and none of the there's just nothing else.
Is there
doesn't
another
seem to
one?
be anything
Is
else.
there another show?
They had a movie called Guest House Paradiso that was like a spin-off of
So
Bottom.
I think Bottom. I watched an episode or two of Bottom, and I think it's actually really good.
Oh, maybe I need to
But
try
I didn't watch.
again.
I'm saying that based off 2 episodes. I've also seen like real terrible boomer-esque screenshot posts on Facebook that just end up on my feed, and some of them are good. So what I'm saying is I'm going to kill myself.
I'll try it again,
I'm
but
going to
it's
do it
like
properly.
it does have like a sense of desperation in it that's quite nowadays. It's more appealing to me. You know how Mr. Bean?
I think their whole thing was that they just wanted to have sex. Like I think that was really funny about it. Is like they were like, they were both like incredibly horny to have sex, but at the same time incredibly frightened of the idea that they would actually have to be like in the same room as a woman.
Yeah, and I think it's funny in that like that anybody could actually achieve that as characters and pull it off in a sitcom, but just barely. Like they just did it barely. You know, I feel like when I'm watching it, I'm not pissing my pants laughing. I'm just like, this is acceptable. They did it.
So put bottom to the side though. That the documentary that Aid did is not.
The documentary is just about Bottom.
Oh, okay.
It makes me feel like because that was the thing that he had the heaviest hand in creatively.
Yeah.
And it's also this idea of like, you know, similar to how Paul McCartney now does a lot of, you know, the idea of like retcon. Is that what they say? Retconning. Or like going back and rewriting history.
Yeah.
Like that you can't just let something be what,
you know what I call that?
Is. What?
Rewriting history.
Yeah. Why is it retconning?
I forget. I looked it up a long time ago. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, not going to remember that.
Rewriting history or reframing it or just doing something to it that didn't need to be done.
Reconnaissance, I don't know. Who cares? I'm actually going to pretend that I don't care why it is rather than feel embarrassed that I don't understand it.
Well, I don't mind because I've talked about that. I've talked about ZFAG. Those were the
ZFAG was pretty good.
Main things.
Hey, Coachella happened though.
Oh my God.
Coachella.
Oh my God.
The nation's festival, the music festival of the world happened. Morgan, did you happen to get served any of this content
had
about?
No idea that it happened.
Do you know what Coachella is?
I know what it is.
Right,
yep.
That's fantastic. Do you know who was on the Coachella lineup? It wasn't
guess.
great. Yeah, guess.
Give me a guess.
Give me a couple of headliners.
And you tell me with sounds.
I'm listening.
Whether I'm right or wrong. Okay. Let me start from the top.
Hit me.
Guns N' Roses. LA Guns.
Yes.
Hollywood Rose.
Hollywood Rose was there.
Slash Snake Pit.
Wait, were those last three real? Those are real. Oh, jeez.
So Guns N' Roses, if you don't know.
Sorry, yes. I know what Guns N' Roses is. Go on.
But
what was the other one? Rosetown?
No. So there were two bands.
Yes.
There was Hollywood Rose and LA Guns. No. And in the early 80s, they joined to make Guns N' Roses.
They did.
Yes. LA Guns and Hollywood Rose.
La Guns.
Something like that. I think
so those were predecessors.
All right. So
Slash a Snake Pit. That's a classic. That's an oldie.
Did they play?
No, they didn't play.
Okay. All right. Let me try again. Slash's Blues Ball.
Hey, what was that? 6 Slashes? No, it wasn't. What?
No, it was Velvet Underground.
That was a fucking
Slither.
song.
And Slither.
That is a song.
With Scott from the Stone Temple Pilots. Scott from the Stone Temple Pilots.
They played.
They did?
They didn't. Sorry.
What about the Stone Temple Pilots?
Give me one guess at like one of the headlining days.
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah, I think so. I don't actually.
You can't
remember.
even answer.
I know Tyler, the Creator, headlined one evening, which to me seems, I don't know. I loved Odd Future when they first came out, but I didn't realize that I was so old that like. I didn't realize I was so old that now Tyler, the Creator, is a Coachella headliner.
No, he's out of his ring.
I think Lana might. No, because she was meant to. Yes, Lana Del Rey, correct.
Yes.
Tyler, the Creator.
Texas.
And then on the third day, it was Doja Cat.
I've heard of Doja Cat.
Oh, not only have you heard of Doja Cat,
but they play drums. They play drums and keyboards.
She just plays drums
and keyboards.
So she's there. She's sat there behind a drum kit and she's
1, 2, 3, 4.
Standard 4/4 beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every now and then she'll have to drop the hi-hat, so then it's just like because with her hi-hat hand, she's over on the keyboard going ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
And then she'll do that for about 7 minutes, and like in a minimal house song where like suddenly like the bass note that's been at a steady like sub-frequency C for 3 minutes suddenly moves up to the D, and the whole dance floor just goes, oh! And also like there's like an extra like they like open up or extend the reverb on one of the percussion pieces.
They do this song. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Yeah,
I hope so.
She stops playing.
I'm listening. I'm just going to take a piss.
She keeps playing. She stops playing the keyboard, and then the hi-hat, you guessed it, comes right back in. But instead of a hi-hat, it's a duck quacking sound. So it's like that's me trying to beatbox the kick and snare at the same time as a quack hi-hat. So Coachella did happen, and the first weekend, our favorite lady of the lamp, Grimes, you guessed it, she was doing a DJ set, I guess. And as far as I can tell, based on the few TikTok videos that I scrolled away from as soon as I could, her record box had analyzed a bunch of MP3s that she was DJing at half the tempo that they should have been, and then therefore were playing at double the tempo they should have been. And then she like got on the microphone and she was like, guys, I'm sorry to say, but all of my songs are playing at double speed because I last minute decided to add a bunch of tracks to my DJ set, and I can't do the maths in my head of what half 160 BPM is. Therefore, I can't mix these songs for you. I'm so sorry. So that was a bit of a train wreck, apparently. To me, sounds like all fun and games. What I don't understand is why Grimes is doing a DJ set instead of playing her own original music. I guess we'll never know. Another controversy from Coachella is Blur, right? Blur.
Oh, no.
One of the biggest Britpop bands in the world. They do Wonderwall. They do Don't Look Back in Anger. What else do they do? They do Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. They do
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous by Good Charlotte.
They do the whole Good Charlotte
album.
It's amazing. Yeah, Blur are up there. They're doing all of the Good Charlotte hits. So Morgan, this is what happened at Coachella.
Okay, I'm listening.
Grimes played a DJ set and
I'll save it for the podcast. Did I tell you that's my new catchphrase?
That's good. Do you want to know what my podcast is?
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Oh yeah.
So you do yours.
Save it for the podcast.
Big Reef. I'm listening. And so you out there in the audience, tell us which one you want on a shirt.
Which one you would have on a shirt?
Which one would you have on a shirt? All right, so I'm going to hit you with the controversies. One,
okay, I'm listening.
Grimes played a DJ
set. That's the catchphrase. I'm listening.
You remember Grimes? I'm listening.
Grimes,
I'm listening. It could apply to any kind of brand. Grimes played a DJ set, but all of her digital files that she was DJing had been analyzed incorrectly and were marked with either double or half the BPM of what they actually were.
Okay.
So she couldn't figure out how to mix the songs together because the BPMs were like, and so she like got on the microphone and announced to everyone, guys, this is really technical, but the songs that I'm DJing were analyzed incorrectly, and so I'm doing really complicated maths in my head to figure out what half the BPM or double the BPM of this is so I can mix them together.
Yep.
So that was one thing, and that's kind of embarrassing because
it is very embarrassing.
I mean, I've had something like that happen to me before, but I just doubling and halving numbers is pretty easy.
Well, it's pretty easy, and also
I don't even know my times tables. Like I'm the guy at work who's like, someone says that plus that equals that, right? I'm like, oh, don't ask me about maths, and they go, oh, Hayden, and then I get away with it every time because I can't do 20 plus 35. I just can't do it. It's probably 55. Is that right? Oh yeah, laugh break.
But also at that level, you would think that you'd have a pretty strong.
You would think that you'd be able to DJ without having to like look at the BPM number.
Yeah, well,
I would assume so. You could just do it by ear.
You wouldn't need to do anything.
You've already picked the songs based on the fact they're in a similar. Look, I'm not trying to mansplain DJing to Grimes, but maybe
I didn't know she was a woman, so I didn't realize we were mansplaining. But I take it all back and I say, look,
maybe it was. I don't know. Look, I like Grimes. I think she's really tall. Anyway, Blur. So that was one.
And then what Blur done?
Also, like, why is Grimes playing a DJ set? I don't think she was billed as playing a DJ set. Hey, look, I'll tell you firsthand my own personal experience based on the Grimes thing.
I just hope she played My Sharona. I reckon that track rocks.
I pressed because YouTube.
Daddy Cool.
YouTube stream.
My Sharona.
YouTube stream.
Chicken chips.
Chicken chips. Yeah, back at the chicken chips.
He's back. Lawrence is back.
They stream all of this, Morgan, on YouTube.
Who?
A bunch of the stages. Coachella.
Oh,
both weekends.
so you couldn't,
it's live. You
get
can
away
just
from
tune
it.
in. You can tune in. And I just happened to tune in during Grimes' set, and she was playing some fucking track, and it appeared to be hers because it sounded like her voice on it, and it was fucking rave, and it was trancey, and I was like, man, this fucking rocks. And I watched a good 20 seconds of it, and then I realized that I had more important things to do, and I closed my phone and didn't look at it again. So based on that, I think she fucking killed it because whatever that was is extremely my shit.
Yep.
And my Sharona. So that's my rating, but a lot of people have edited her talking over the microphone in an embarrassing way into TikTok videos, and that's more interesting. Blur.
Okay.
Similarly.
Back.
Wasn't there.
No.
Didn't watch but I have seen a good 20 seconds of their set where they're playing, is it called Boys and Girls? Boys and the girls, I need pie and drink time.
Okay.
They're playing that. One of their biggest hits.
Big one.
And one of their biggest hits.
You could hear then from my approximation of it that I know it. Yeah.
They were playing that.
I don't know fucking
and
shit.
Damon Albarn, man, like I wish I looked as good as. I mean, I don't know that he's like a particularly handsome man. Maybe he was back in the day, but he's like probably 55 now.
He's taking care of himself.
He looks pretty good. I saw the Gorillas a couple of years ago, and I just couldn't stop thinking, how does a 50-year-old man dressed like that not look like a fucking idiot? He looks quite good.
He's got a stylist.
All right, so I'm getting a stylist tomorrow. Putting that on my, I
Put it on your style list.
Anyway, they're playing that song, and he's going,
no, he's not.
He is that's how the song goes. So that's fine. That part of the story is not egregious. That's good. So let's do that again.
Yeah.
So, and he's going,
That's about right.
Yeah, because that's how the song goes, right? And you know that.
And then what?
And he's like, come on, everybody, let me hear you sing it. And he holds the microphone out. And deafening silence, Morgan. I don't kid you. I don't kid you.
Well, this is what's happening today. People are holding microphones out, and people are just being like, "No, sorry, you're on your own, pal."
And the narrative goes, "Oh, bloody trust cunts." Bloody trust fund kids.
It is trust cunt funds.
Trust cunt funds. Trust cunts.
It's
all
trust
trust
fucks.
cunt kids.
What's trust? Trust
all these trust
fucks.
fund cunts out in the audience. They don't even know who Blur are. Why aren't they singing along? This is one of their hits.
Dude,
Don't you know anything
seen
about Blur?
Anchorman.
They probably haven't even seen Anchorman.
That's how I rate people.
Cunts.
Like, have you seen Anchorman or not?
Have you seen Anchorman?
How recently have you seen Anchorman?
Anyway, it gets worse, Morgan. I'm sorry to tell you. Then Damon Albarn says, "You might as well sing along because it's the last time you're going to see us here." He's pissed. Morgan, he's pissed. He didn't like the response he got. So he goes, and no one's singing along. The audience don't want to hear it.
No.
And he goes again, oh. And then he puts the microphone out and I don't want to upset you on a Tuesday, Morgan.
But
they don't sing along.
No, but people are actually slowly walking out.
I didn't see that. I just couldn't. I mean, admittedly, they might have been singing along, and his microphone didn't pick it up. But he did not look happy. They weren't singing along to one of
Oh my god!
It's like, that's all right. Well, you're never going to see us again, and stuff like that. So that, more or less, that's what he said.
You said last time.
Yeah, he said the same thing twice. And
oh my god, again.
And so that's the controversy. Blur played one of their hits from 1992.
Blur played a massive song, and people didn't know it.
And he was the lead singer from Blur. Was pissed off and said, we're never playing a band. We're never playing a band
again. Well, and that begs the question.
But this is a reunion tour. I guess that adds some weight too. I feel like the Blur have only just started playing shows again together after a long period.
Yeah, but it's a festy. You're playing a festy. You
That's
don't
true.
expect everybody to know your shit. At a festy where people might be hanging out for Lana Del Rey and like, who the fuck are these old cunts? I can't remember a cunt from 20 or 30 years ago. Sorry, I've been listening to The Big Send. So
the Big Send podcast.
So-
I know that.
for that reason, I've been saying a lot of the C word in
Yeah,
this one.
they do swear a bit too
They
much.
swear a
on that
lot in that podcast. I quite like it.
I quite like the swearing.
The
parts.
swearing's my favorite. I cut out all the other bits. If you guys could just make...
much like my edit of Star Wars, you have an edit of every one of their podcasts where they just swear.
Yeah, I've got a part where they just swear. You've got a Star Wars where it's just Jar Jar, which is difficult for the parts, particularly the movies that don't have Jar Jar in them.
It's just
Those
episode
ones are
1.
really
I don't
quick.
have any of the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Big shouts out to the Big Send
Big
podcast,
shouts
another
out.
Canberran podcast, doing it hard.
only
doing
other
it tall.
Canberra podcast worth listening to,
Big
in
shout
my
out
honest
to
opinion.
Out of Pocket.
Yep.
Huge, great podcast.
Sure, give 'em a
based in
shout.
Canberra. Big shout out to. I can't think of any
But
other.
I don't know.
Canberran
Like, if I
podcasts.
was at Big Day Out in 2006 and...
Paint a picture for me. All right, I'm standing in Sydney Olympic Stadium.
So it's 2006,
It's
2005
2006.
maybe.
Australian
Rage Against the
flags
Machine.
everywhere.
Rage Against the
Rage
Machine
Against
are the
the Machine,
headline act, right? So they've already
They're up on
retired
stage.
and
they've just played
they've
Wonderwall.
reunited. But they've reunited.
They're
right?
back.
They're back.
Double LP.
But
they're all excited.
they've only been gone for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So there's a reason for them to come back. I mean, look, you could argue that because they've only been gone a short amount of time, why would they come back? Well, it's because these bands only have like such a life with their audience. And so if you're Blur,
Which I am.
which you are, that was around the same time as Rage Against the Machine, I
Sure.
would say. Like what, the early 90s through to the early 2000s? And
I
then
feel like Blur probably broke before Rage.
maybe even
But
earlier.
anyway,
So, like, if Rage Against the Machine played today at any of these festivals, I wouldn't expect anybody to get up in arms about it. They'd be like, who the fuck are these dudes?
I don't know. Yeah,
You reckon?
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Even the Red Hot
okay.
Chili Peppers. I think even if the Red Hot Chili Peppers did it was opposite.
What if I was at? All right, let me think of like the first big day out I went to was
No.
Beastie Boys and Chemical Brothers and can't think of who. I feel like System of a Down. All right, let's go. 2005. I'm there. I'm seeing Beastie Boys, who are ostensibly already a bit of a legacy act at that point.
Yeah.
Fine, but what was 10 years before that? What was 1995 massive, like, reached their apex in 1995's band?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Pearl
Iggy
Jam?
Pop, he played at one of these.
Yeah, he did.
And even then, that's a good example because I
Yeah,
feel like
that is a
I,
good
at that
example.
time, was like, who the fuck's
I
Iggy
don't
Pop?
care about
Sorry.
Iggy Pop.
I know Search and Destroy because the Chili Peppers covered it once. And then it was like a few years later, oh yeah,
So Iggy Pop's
cool.
up there. He's just finished playing Wonderwall. He's going, oh.
Yeah.
He's like, you're never going to see us again anyway.
Yeah.
And like one
Swings
thing.
and roundabouts. Look, these things come and go. That's all I'm saying. Blur,
do.
your day is done. You're over.
Get out of here,
Even though you
Damon.
might be able to be 50 or mid 50s and still look okay,
pretty, dress well.
I
look
think
pretty all right.
you're actually
dumb.
a Dumbo. And let's circle back to Z-Fag. No,
Before we circle back to ZVAG, we are going to tidy up this episode in a moment. I just want to remind all of our listeners, there's more where this came from. If you want to hear us apply the lyrics of Boys and Girls by Blur to other bands, pretending that they are playing that song and getting a bad response from their audience at any kind of music festival, you can get that, because behind the paywall of the Big Reef Patreon for just $8.50 quintessential Australian dollars a month, you can get an extra episode every week. You can get our music releases early. You can get all kinds of additional shit that we're going to be putting up behind our other creative ventures, both Morgan and I individually do, that we will only release behind the paywall. So please go to patreon.com/Big Reef and send us your love and send me your hand in a hand.
No way. Well, I just also had some other things that I needed to say.
Okay, well, is the SD card going to let you say them?
We've got so many minutes. We've got like 5 minutes left.
All right, cool. Hit me.
Well, first of all, I wanted to touch on this idea. This song came out probably 4 years ago, but it's still a good song, and I think pertinent as it belies the Australiana culture that we're really trying to get across here. And what better week to get across that Australiana culture than this, the week wherein we celebrate Anzac Day. Now, Anzac Day, you may argue, was a day where the Australian soldiers were sent as cannon fodder for the British Army as they invaded the real Turkey, and we were used as a distraction. But oh no, actually, it was the first occurrence of the Australian national consciousness becoming a thing. But I digress. What I wanted to talk about was this song by none other than Tame Impala. It's called Borderline. All right, you hear that? It's about all I can play. I don't want to infringe copyright. But you could hear where that was going. There was some chromatic dissension. There was a bit of a disco nod. And there was also some jingly-jangly 80s piano samples or synthesizers being used. I want to play you something else. On the borderline, something. It's very hard to conceptualize what it is I'm trying to get across here, but just give this one more. You hear? You hear what I'm saying?
Hear exactly what you're saying.
One more time. Let's just give it one more go. On the borderline, it doesn't quite work because the Tame Impala song is in 6/4, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then the theme song to Ship to Shore is in 4/4. 1, 2. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I feel like it's easier to sing the Ship to Shore theme over the top of this than the other way around.
Yeah.
Go back to the start.
So, if anybody out there has any kind of musical inclinations, because Hayden and I certainly
I
don't.
don't know what
How we
music
do it.
is.
But if you
I feel like we
smash them up, mash them up.
No, how about I mash them up and then it goes behind the paywall?
Oh, that'll go by the way. That's
behind the paywall.
Borderline and Ship to
You want to hear
Shore.
essentially what you just
Call
heard
it Ship
already?
to Shoreline. Ship to Shore to line.
It was so exciting during the Bloghouse days. Like, mashups were going ham.
Oh yeah,
Every man and his dog was,
and people were
putting a
receptive to it.
they
Now-
were fun.
now
They
people
were
don't
They
care.
were so fun. They're not fun anymore. We did it. It's done. But they were so exciting. And like a new one would drop and it'd get like thousands of downloads, and then you'd hear it in the club the next weekend. Yeah, mashups.
Well, before we sign off,
Wait. What's the next like mashup? What is the mashup of 2024? You go first.
okay,
'Cause
I think it's
You go first.
it's sort of like if you combined the Matrix movie with the video game Enter the Matrix.
You go first.
15
what about
seconds.
Res?
13
It's just
seconds.
Res, isn't it?
12 seconds.
Okay.
Good. 10 seconds.
Thanks for
left.
listening to our podcast. We love you so much. Thank you.
And also, what good is a mouth if you cannot speak? And also, I know Kung Fu. Thank you.